So it's just been kind of boring, right? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie, and for those of you who are new, my husband and I are documenting our journey through IVF, our marriage, our faith, and our first pregnancy. So I am currently pregnant with our first little baby boy, and we are actually in his nursery today because I want your help. So I have some paint colors back here. This is first option, and then this is the second option. This option is actually in our laundry room, and I love it in there, but I feel like it's really dark in this room. So A or B, but comment below which one you like better. So today I'm gonna just kind of wrap up like weeks 21-ish to week 24. So, and I'm a little bit behind because I'm currently in week 26, so I'll be catching up now, but there hasn't been a lot going on. It's been really kind of boring, right? So we had a lot of little scares in the beginning, and we had the trisomy 13 scare, which again, if you've seen some of the other videos, which I'll link the most recent one up here, but it's still there. But as of our week 20 anatomy scan, they said they didn't see any of the markers. So we are under the assumption, and we are just thanking God that everything is okay for now. But so we've had lots of little scares, but in terms of like symptoms and me feeling sick or any of that stuff, it's been really boring because I've felt totally fine. So the fun part that I like reading about every week is just like how big baby is getting. So right now he's about 12 inches long and he weighs a little over a pound-ish, like right around there. And the funny part is always like what like fruit or vegetable that he is. And so this week was, or in week 24, it was that he was a pomegranate. One of my other books said that he was like an ear of corn. So it's always very weird because like the apps that I have, the books that I have, like they're all different. So I'm like, I don't know, he's just big or he's growing. I'm gonna read you something from this book, but again, this is the Waiting and Wonder book. I love this thing so much. I talked about it in my first trimester must-haves, and it's just fun because it'll tell you, like I'll go, so like each week whenever it starts, so like for week 24, it tells you like what all's going on and then what you should be praying for. I just love this thing. And so it'll tell you like what developments are happening this week, which is kind of neat because some of the other apps that I have don't necessarily go into that much detail. So it's just really cool to be able to like see, you know, what's going on with him in here. And so like some of the things that it said was that baby boy's face is pretty much already formed. He's got eyebrows and eyelashes and ears, and you know, everything is there. It's just very tiny still, but so he's still growing in that sense, but everything is like there. And if you had like a little microscope, you could like see him. So it's just kind of crazy that, you know, we could try and depict who he looks like right now if we were to be able to see inside my belly. The other cool thing is that he's starting to be able to hear and differentiate like the voices, and not necessarily saying that like he can fully, you know, it's very clear, but it's still muffled, and I fully understand that. But you know, like he can hear what's going on with me. So if like if my stomach is gurgling, or if I'm hungry, or the breath in my lungs, if I'm taking deep breaths, and like the blood flow and just all of that, like he hears all of that stuff, and he can hear my voice now, and he can hear my husband's voice every day when we're talking. And that's just so cool. Throughout this whole process, just breaking down again, like that book like breaks down like every little bitty thing as it's developing, and why and when and how everything is so designed very intricately to happen at this specific time and for this reason. And it's just amazing to think about, to think that like God designed that, and he put every little bit of thought and care into every little stage of development of your baby. It's just mind-blowing to me. And I'm just, again, every day that I like write in my prayer journal, I'm just so thankful. I'm like, thank you for being so detailed with everything about this pregnancy. So week 24, I did go back to the doctor at 24 weeks and 2 days. I wasn't sure what to expect going into that doctor's appointment because they didn't really tell me anything. I knew it was only supposed to be like a quick little doctor's appointment, so I knew that there wasn't going to be an ultrasound. That was pretty much all I knew. They took my weight, peed in a cup, you know, make sure all that is good. And then they did finally measure my belly, which they have not done that since before. But I forgot to ask her what it was, and she didn't say it out loud. So I have no idea what it measured, but she said everything was fine. So I guess it's good. So then she went to put the Doppler on my stomach and listen to baby. And he, I kid you not, was so stubborn, just like his mom and dad, fully admitting that I'm stubborn too. But he was rolling around, just moving around, and would not stop. And so I have literally over 2 minutes worth of just muffled like wave type noises, because that's him just completely moving around the whole time. I barely have maybe 2 seconds of like a heartbeat where she barely caught it, and then he moved again. So I was so annoyed. I was like, darn it, little baby, you are just killing me. So we didn't really get a heartbeat, but I know everything was fine, and she was just cracking up laughing because he was just being stubborn. So the other little fun stuff that happened this week, in week 23, we had gone to bed around, I think it was like on a Saturday night or something. So I was telling my husband that I was feeling him kicking that time, and he couldn't feel it just by like his hand on my stomach. And so he got his stethoscope out, and he's like, okay, put the little round piece, whatever piece that's called. He's like, put this wherever you think that he's at. And I was like, okay. So I put it on my stomach, and he sat there for the longest time. And so finally he put his hand or his finger like on my wrist, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna like tap you if I feel like I hear him. And I said, okay. So he started doing that, and then every time he thought he heard him, he was tapping, and I was saying yes or no. So that was kind of fun. And he said it is definitely very small. Like if he hadn't known better, he would just thought that it was like my stomach. So very little still at that point. And then I think it was the next week in week 24, whenever, again, same thing, we had gone and we were just laid down for bed, and my husband was telling me a story, and I could just like, he was kicking a bunch. So I put his hand on my stomach, and we just sat there for a little bit, and I said, did you feel it? And he's like, no. And I said, he's kicking right where your hand is. So again, he was gonna like tap my wrist if he thought that it was the baby kicking, and sure enough, it was. And so he's like, if I hadn't known better, I would have just thought that it was like your stomach like having a spasm. That's what it felt like to him. So, and that's kind of what it feels like to me too now, because I can feel him like outside, not just, you know, feeling him on the inside. That was kind of the fun stuff that happened this week. Every day in this little journal has like the words that you're gonna read, and then it's always got 2 questions to ask you on the side. And so one of the questions, I just had to laugh at myself, and so I'm fully telling you the story so you can laugh at me or with me, because hopefully maybe I'm not the only one that did this. So it's asking you to write a little prayer for your little one, and it's just saying like, while you're growing inside mommy, I want to be sure you learn my voice. Some of the special stories, songs, and lullabies I hope to share with you are, and then it gives you a big old space for you to put down your favorite like nursery rhymes or lullabies or stuff like that. And I was like, I sat there for the longest time, and I was like, I have no idea. Like I could not think of any kind of lullabies or nursery rhymes or anything. And I was like, I have no clue. So I started having to Google them. I was like, what in the world? So if I am not the only one that has had that problem, and you're like, oh, maybe I don't know as many or remember any of them, fully know that I am right there with you. So that is it for this video. It was a very quick one, just a quick update on where we're at up to week 24. If you found this video helpful, please give it a big thumbs up, click that little subscribe button. And again, if I can be praying for you guys in any single way, let me know down below. I just want to thank you again for watching. Thank you again for being a part of my family and following and subscribing. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Take care and God bless.